Hello fellow YouTubers, this is Reagan here, and today I will be discussing with you more about my tin haul boots and the experience that I've had with them thus far. And in this video I will be displaying my current favorite pair. I have actually ridden in them, both English and Western, and I will discuss, of course, what I liked out of the two riding styles the best. So here they are. Absolutely love them. My husband got them last year for me for Christmas, and I'll be getting another pair this year. It'll be the shark style. Now, what I will say about these, unlike the others that I have shaft wise, this is not like the traditional leather style, but it's very comfortable, especially when you're riding, because it's really soft and very flexible. Now, these down here are just, you know, they're the typical leather, and they've got cactuses, which is really neat. I love that about them. And of course, the little picture they make at the bottom still stuck on me. That's what really made them pop out to me. I like the little message that they had. I hope you can see them. Scoot them up a little bit. There we go. But yeah, these are a pair of my favorite tin hauls aside from my wedding boots, which you guys saw in my previous video. Now, one thing that I will say about them is they work great for riding, and as said previously, I have ridden English and Western. They do work well with English riding, but if you're not used to English riding, they can represent a bit of a challenge. And I did wear tall boots initially, but the tall boots were just, oh, they were awful. So I asked my trainer, can I please just wear my tin hauls, please? I cannot deal with this anymore. She's like, yeah, sure. So I rode in them, and I will say, to my surprise, they did pretty darn good for a pair of square toe boots. They did pretty good. Now, they might have been a little bit wide for the stirrups, but they weren't awful. Like I said, they did pretty good. And I was able to keep my posture a lot better because I was actually comfortable riding, and unlike tall boots, I could actually feel with my legs where I needed to be gripping the horse. And of course I have ridden Western in them, and Western stirrups were a little wider, but they did good all the more. They did a little bit better with the Western, I will say. And again, these were definitely over the $300 mark, but they're tin haul, so that's expected. Now, there are websites where you can get them for less, like on sale. I think Western Outfitters is the name of the store. You can get them for $200 or so versus the tin haul side, which is where I got these. Now, one thing I will say is some boots have like more of like a cushioning soft inside, like my Ariats had that, but these, I'm gonna try to see if you can see inside of them. But right in here, it's kind of like a slick leather type of thing. And that's how, you know, cowboy boots are supposed to be made. But what I will say is, for those that are beginning with cowboy boots, I mean, if you want a pair of these, you know, obviously more power to you. I mean, they're great. I love them. But the thing of it is if you're not used to cowboy boots at all, I would highly recommend a starter boot, just like I did before, because these are an adjustment. I will say these are a huge adjustment to break in and stuff. I mean, they're not bad, they're not terrible, but unlike other boots that have more of that comfy, cushiony feel, these are more traditional on the inside, just because of how they're made. Of course, they were made in Mexico, just like the other ones I have were. Not sure where my Ariats were made, though. I may have to look into that. But tin hauls are great boots once you get used to them. They really are. And I'm not trying to discourage any first-time buyers from getting these. I'm not, because if you want them, I absolutely want you to enjoy them and, of course, get them. I'm just saying it might be a smart idea to spend maybe a month or two in just normal everyday ones, just until you kind of get a feel for what a cowboy boot is going to be like, because these, like I said, these have more of a break-in period, I guess. Now these were a little easier to break in, I must say, a lot of it being the shaft, because it's a lot softer, and they're extremely easy to ride in. These are, because it has leather on the inside, but this here, this isn't a typical leather shaft. I'm not sure what it is, but it works really well for riding. But one thing I will say is that it does stain relatively easily, so just kind of be prepared for that. But you can easily take like a paper towel and just kind of wipe it down. It'll get rid of most of them, but it won't necessarily get rid of all of them. But the bottoms, though, are extremely easy to clean up. And relatively easy to maintain. I mean, these still look great, and this looks good too. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying this material in particular tends to stain easily. Now, I'm gonna set these aside for just a second, but where Tin Hall is concerned, like I said, I love them. I could never, you know, replace them. I mean, this is my go-to brand. But like I say though, if you're just now getting into a pair of boots, just consider what you'll be getting into with a pair of Tin Halls. And Tin Halls, they are wide. They are very wide on the inside. But I will say this, it's better to have a boot that's a little bit big on you and you just double up in socks, because if they're too small, that crap is miserable. It is absolutely miserable. Because I bought a pair of shoes, it wasn't even boots, it was a pair of shoes that I spent over $200 and something for. And I wore them like all day, and I regretted it. It's something I will never do again. They kept touching the toe box. You do not want to do that with a pair of cowboy boots, period. Now, it's one thing to size down if they recommend it, but just be sure that you know what you're doing. Because it's just going to cause havoc for your feet if you don't. Now, I've always been pretty good at sizing for cowboy boots because I've had them for quite a few years now. Started out with Ariats, wore them for a while, and then ended up with these lovely Tin Halls. And I have, let's see, I have just a brown tan pair, which you guys saw that I wore in my wedding. I have a black pair, and then I have these ones. And pretty soon, like when Christmas rolls around, I will be getting the shark ones, the shark boots with the mouth and the eye on the side. I'm excited for those, very excited. And of course, I'll still wear these because, you know, they are my favorite as of now. But the Tin Hall boot is definitely my favorite boot in general, though, because there's so many varieties of them. And, you know, just the sole at the bottom is just amazing. And I will say, they have held up remarkably well. Like, I've gotten these filthy, you know, working at the barn and stuff, getting dirty. I mean, I no longer work for a barn, but I will say these have held strong. So have my others that I've had. And on days that they got dirty, you know, I don't really have saddle soap at my disposal. So what I do is I use soft soap because it's more gentle. And I'll just take a bucket, you know, and of course use a little scrub brush and scrub the bottoms of these, and then take a paper towel with wet water with soap in it and just kind of wipe up here. And then I would take a regular wet paper towel and kind of, you know, dig around in here and get any, you know, dirt or residue or whatever could be in there out, just to keep them clean and nice and long lasting. I really hope that this information was helpful and that you guys will find the boots that you guys love, because there's more than Tin Hall out there. There's plenty of boot brands. I found my brand, and y'all's, I'm well aware that y'all's may not be the same for many reasons, I'm sure. But if you do go Tin Hall, just be aware of certain things that you were going to have to deal with these boots. Like I said, with mine, as I said in the other video, I have to double up in socks with these if they're ankle socks. Now, if it's a winter sock, you don't have to double up in that at all. But if you don't double up in socks and you get your size like me, because I didn't want to take a chance and them be too small, your foot's going to slide around and it ain't going to be fun. So most definitely, if you have an ankle sock, double up in those suckers. Winter sock, you don't have to worry about it. But anyway, that's it for now. If you have any questions or you want me to go over anything in particular with today's video, please let me know. God bless. Love y'all. Bye.